News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Here's Trump today on the getting close to the end of the trial here, maybe the second or third to the last day of this trial, which will probably wrap up and head to the jury this week, sometime mid-week is my estimation from what I've been hearing. Here is Trump today after the trial.
Thank you very much. Everybody saw what happened today. I don't think we have to do any explaining. I'm not allowed to anyway, because this judge is corrupt. He's a corrupt judge. This judge, what he did and what his ruling was is a disgrace. Everybody saw what happened today. He's a corrupt judge and he's totally conflicted. And I got to get back on the campaign trail. I'm not supposed to be here. We are so innocent. There's never been anything like it. Read every single analyst, legal analyst. I'm innocent, and I'm being held in this court with a corrupt judge who's totally conflicted. Take a look at his conflict. It's a disgrace to the city of New York, to the state of New York, and to the country. Thank you very much.
And we also have Michael Cohen was speaking. One of the things that they'll probably play is this from the other day on his social media feed. He's pitching a show.
My name is Michael Cohen, and for years, I was the personal lawyer for a notoriously bad man. Since then, I've been on a journey of redemption, working to set things right. But now I'm paying it forward, wielding the tools that I've learned for regular people in trouble. The little guy doesn't usually have access to people with my particular set of skills.
Well, I think that what we have here, also we have to be reminded, is a convicted felon who served prison time. He's been disbarred. A federal judge said that Michael Cohen is a serial liar that cannot be trusted. That was the direct quote is serial liar. So, I had a realization today. You have to understand this is the only trial that will be adjudicated before November. You have to understand that Trump, as of today, according to the New York Times Siena poll they just released today, that Trump is leading in 5 out of 7 states of the swing states. 5 out of 7 of the swing states, Trump is leading. And I'm even going to quote Karl Rove, who literally, it's like pulling teeth out to get this guy to admit that Trump's going to win. And today he said, among many, many other people said today, that if the election were today, Trump wins hands down, including if Trump wins the election, if he would have had the election today, it would be a landslide. Number two, that the amount of electoral votes, you need 270 to win the presidential election. And in fact, what this looks like as of right now is the numbers they were giving was either 290 or in the 300s, a massive landslide. Okay? With the polling as of today, and it's not just the New York Times Siena poll, it's a amalgam of polls. So here's the questions I have for you, because what this means is you have to understand something. This is it. This is the one case that could determine the election this fall. That's it. It literally is it. I'm not kidding. I want you to treat it as if this is the only case, because I'm going to tell you right now, as of today, and as every legal expert I've heard that has a brain in their head, this is it. And, some of these voters have said if Trump's convicted that they would probably rethink their vote. Some of them. And that's enough. Another poll coming out today shows that African-American and Hispanics, minorities, have surged towards Trump and turned away from Biden, particularly black men and Hispanics in general. This is amazing. So what this means is that this case is riding on, that his election as of right now is truly, in my estimation, is riding on Michael Cohen's case. That's it. So that's why this is an important question when I ask it for you. And I want you to realize this. Do you think the jury will believe Michael Cohen? Do you believe him? Do you believe him? And how likely do you think Trump is to win this case? And do you agree with me and many experts have said today that the outcome of this case could literally change who wins the election this fall? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Do you think the jury, chime in right now at 800-288-WBAP, do you think the jury will believe Michael Cohen? Do you believe him? And how likely do you think Trump is to win this case? And do you agree the outcome of this case could literally change who wins the election this fall? Think of this, a case that is so pathetic, it relies on the testimony of a porn star who had her Make America Horny tour. It relies on a convicted felon who's been disbarred, who is seeking fame and fortune and selling stuff. They're both the two people, the two aforementioned people are selling stuff online and trying to cash in on their fame from this. And that's what stands in the way of the presidency for Trump as of right now, today. And there's a lot of people that truthfully are so ignorant, stupid, or what have you, that may decide to not vote for him based on this one case. Amazing, isn't it? So do you believe Michael Cohen when he says, first of all, Michael Cohen recorded an attorney-client discussion. You know that? Everybody today that's an attorney that was talking about this said that it's a red flag. You don't record conversations with a client. That's insane unless you tell him, let's record this conversation, which he didn't. It wasn't illegal to record the conversation. Every state law is different. But if in New York, only one party has to consent to the recording, which means Cohen did. He did the recording, so it's not illegal. It's just unethical and immoral, according to everybody on that front, even fake news CNN. But you do have to realize you've got fake news CNN, fake news MSNBC, the mainstream media. You've got some of their legal people treating this case like it's really serious and acting like it's serious and what's damaging and what's not, and taking Cohen seriously. And taking Stormy Daniels seriously. It's pathetic. But I want you to realize is when you see. You have to understand there's some people that will only get the news from fake news MSNBC and fake news CNN or from the mainstream media. And so they will see experts act like and pretend like this is a normal, regular mainstream case that should be treated with legitimacy and respect and decency. And so you have to realize that people are going to look at that, and then what's going to determine this is depending on whether Trump gets convicted. And then you have to take this forward and say, do you actually think that Michael Cohen is telling the truth? That Trump, wink, wink, nod, nod, knew this was all to a payment for hush money, and it was a legal expense, or was put as a legal expense when it should have been a campaign contribution or campaign expense, which is absolutely ridiculous because it is a legal expense. And so many people don't realize that this affair, this alleged affair, I don't believe her anymore. I really don't. But it doesn't matter. Do you know this happened allegedly in 2006, almost 20 years ago? Almost 20 years ago. Do you know that this was settled in 2017 after the trial, after the presidency? Do you know that Trump cared about Melania finding out and his family finding out, and that he stopped the Wall Street Journal and other papers from going to his house so that she would not see it? That was his big concern. And everybody that worked for him directly, except for Michael Cohen, says that he cared about his family. This was about his family. And you have to believe Michael Cohen, who said I was the fixer. And I agree that Trump's top person is an accountancy lady who went with him to the White House. I agree that she said that he was the fix-it man because he also broke everything he was fixing. He was fixing because it was Cohen that broke it. I believe him because the guy is a liar and a cheat. And he was angry. Here's the other thing. They're going to nail him. They're going to bring him to his knees on cross-examination tomorrow or the next day, whenever that takes place, the defense will, because they're going to break him down. You literally were angry and were screaming to the Stormy Daniels' attorney during the negotiations with him. You were angry that he didn't bring you to the White House. You were outraged. You were mad. Everybody in your universe says you were jealous. You assumed you were telling everybody that you were going to be the head attorney for the Trump administration. You could be the attorney general or the top White House attorney, and he didn't bring you to the White House, and you were mad about that, and you expected it, and you were telling everybody you were going. So he has a motive. He's like a spurned lover. He never was brought to the White House. He was left back in Manhattan. And for that, he was like an evil character in Star Wars, who, like Darth Vader, who was spurned and turned evil. I'm going to tell you this. I want to tell you what I think the jury's going to end up doing coming up next. But my question's for you at 800-288-9227. That's 800-288-WBAP. Do you think the jury's going to believe Michael Cohen? Do you believe him? And how likely do you think Trump is going to, actually, it is that Trump will win this case? And do you agree the outcome of this case will literally or could literally change the election this fall? 800-288-9227. This is good. Sandra in Plano, we're going to take next on the Chris Crock Show. She disagrees with me, and she actually agrees with Michael Cohen. This is going to be a great discussion. Do not miss this call next on the Chris Crock Show. Plus, I got specifics on the report today about Michael Cohen and what he says Trump told him on that Stormy Daniels payment. That's one from Axios, and the details on Jonathan Turley, the Fox News contributor and GW Law professor and constitutional law expert, on Michael Cohen's appearance. Is it a wreck or is it good? That is next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and on FM at 93.3 now. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227.
So I'd be the least bit surprised if he comes out and says, you know what, Stormy Daniels, she wanted this money more than you can ever imagine. I remember hearing her on the phone saying, you Keith Davidson, you better settle this story, because if he loses this election, and he's going to lose, if he loses this election, we lose all leverage. This case is worth zero.
So it sounds like extortion from Stormy Daniels right there. The attorney's talking. Michael Cohen angrily spending an hour or two on the phone saying how angry he was for being spurned by Trump and not being brought to White House to be his top attorney. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Do you actually think the jury's going to believe Michael Cohen? Do you believe him? Remember, he's a convicted liar, and in fact, a federal judge said in his court he's been disbarred for malfeasance and lying and such, and he's a convicted felon who served time in the jail. And then he also was called a serial liar from a federal judge in one of his trials that he was convicted on. Sandra in Plano, you're going to call in right now at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. You have called in. And the question I'm asking, Sandra, before we go to you live here is, do you think the jury will believe Michael Cohen? Do you believe him? And how likely do you think Trump is to win this case? And do you agree that the outcome of this case could literally change who wins the election this fall, as it looks to be the only case that will be adjudicated and be completed before this fall? So with that, Sandra in Plano, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hi, Sandra.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. I do believe him, unfortunately.
That's okay. Why do you believe him?
Just, he doesn't have anything to lose at this point. That's the way I look at it. I mean, what does the guy have to lose? He's like going to spill the beans. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you what he has to lose.
Okay.
He has everything to lose because this is all he's got left. He hates Trump. He hates Trump.
He does.
He says that he was screaming and yelling, not just at Stormy Daniels' attorney telling him this. Right. But at the whole universe, there were several people, Trump's right-hand person from the White House, I forget her name, the younger, sweet young lady that testified, I think Thursday or Friday of last week. She was his accountant. Mm-hmm. And then she went to the White House with Trump as one of his chief of staff. I can't recall her name, but she was there. And she was interviewed in this case. She had nothing negative to say about Trump. And she said that she actually believes that's exactly what Cohen was doing. He was angry because he didn't get sent. So you're going to find several people on the record in the trial that have already said that he expected to be brought to as the White House counsel or as the attorney general, and he wasn't brought at all. So he was spurned, he was angry, and he was miserable. And
I don't think he has anything to lose, though. I mean,
no, he's always doing no, but he has everything to lose, because if he can be the guy who sends Trump to jail and causes him to lose the election, he's the hero of the left, and he's already a hero of the left because all he does is go after Trump. That's why they have him on CNN and MSNBC.
I know, I can't stand the man, to be honest. I am all for
this is how he'll get a TV show. I'm explaining to you the last part. This is how he'll get a TV deal out of it. You heard the TV pitch he created, which is ridiculous. Right. And then he'll write a book and get millions, and he'll sell merchandising. He'll be the hero that stopped Donald J. Trump this time.
Yeah, good point.
And if Trump wins this case, he goes to the wayside, and why will anybody care what he has to say?
True.
So then I'll ask you this, and then of course I'll hear the rest of your thoughts. Does he profit if he wins this case? If he's believed in this case goes against Trump, does he profit from it?
Sure he is. He's going to profit. So
does he profit if Trump does not? Well, if Trump wins this case, does he profit, and how?
You know what? Even if Trump does win, Michael Cohen will he'll get some dough out of it, some way. You know, he'll still profit. Okay. One way or the other.
So now tell me again why you agree with Cohen after I've given you my pitch.
I don't know. The man has, at this point, I know you're saying he has a whole lot to lose, but really does he? Do you think he's going to go out there and just disgrace Donald Trump and throw all this junk in? You know what I mean?
Have you not? He already has done that every night on Twitter throughout the trial. Have you seen those and heard those?
I know, but you know what? You're right. But I still think that
he's selling stuff. He's selling stuff. So all this is, and you don't understand how he's a spurned lover that was not brought with, and he was telling everybody he's going to the White House.
Oh, I know. So,
and you're disregarding the fact that a judge called him a serial liar who has no dog.
I know, but I still.
So then, why would you believe him?
I know it doesn't sound right, does it? It really doesn't. But I don't know.
So he's a complete liar by everybody's standards.
Maybe you've changed my mind.
But hold on one second. Hold on. He's a complete liar in everybody's standards, and you're saying that this is the one time he's telling the truth?
Well, I tend to lean that way.
Okay, so you believe a serial. So let me just say this: you believe a serial liar.
No, I guess not. You know, maybe you changed my mind.
Because you would have to believe a serial liar.
Right, you're tending to just throw it all my way, and I get it.
But it's your call. All right, in the end of the day,
change my mind. How's that?
No, well, I mean, if I didn't, that's okay too.
Right, absolutely.
All right, so at the end of the day, you're thinking he has nothing to lose. That's why you believe him.
I do. I really do believe him.
Okay.
I know.
So do you think this could change the election, that this literally will change who wins the election this fall?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right.
I think Trump's
I'm telling you,
though,
somewhere like 5 to 15% of the people said they would rethink their vote if he gets convicted.
Well, you know, I've been hearing that since day one. You know, those are in the midst of things.
Those are solid polls. That's the thing. So literally a serial liar, which you agree he is, a convicted felon, who spent time in jail and has been disbarred, is literally believable in this one instance, and that's going to change the election. And that's okay, though. That's your thought. Sandra, I got to roll, but really thank you for your honesty and for the good discussion.
You got it, Chris. Have a good night.
Take care now. All right, Marcus in Fort Worth, you are next, plus your call at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. How do you think the jury will believe Michael Cohen? Or excuse me, do you think the jury will believe Michael Cohen? Do you believe him, and how likely do you think Trump is to win this case? And do you agree the outcome of this case literally could change who wins the election this fall? 800-288-WBAP. We've got 3 lines open, 800-288-9227. The details on what Michael Cohen says Trump told him about the Stormy Daniels payment, and then the criticism on this whole, quote, a wreck in search of a race, from Professor Jonathan Turley, constitutional law expert and Fox News contributor, next to the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. 800-288-WBAP is our number. Chime in right now. 2 lines open. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. During his testimony today, Michael Cohen outlined how Trump directed him to, quote, just take care of the $130,000 payment to porno actress Stormy Daniels. He recalled how he feared that Daniels' allegations of sexual encounter with Trump would be catastrophic to the 2016 presidential campaign. Trump stated to me that he had spoken to some friends, some individuals, smart people, and that it's $130,000. There's no reason to keep this thing out there, so do it. He expressed to me, just do it. Okay. He says that he also said, quote, he wasn't even thinking about Melania. This was all about the campaign, Cohen said today. So that's it. I mean, this whole case is the only one that will be adjudicated before the election this fall. So therefore, what I want to ask you is extremely important. I want you to realize that this literally could be it. This could literally change the outcome of the election, because if he's convicted of this, which is this case is a joke under no circumstances, but this could be it, and this could change the election results. I'm not kidding you, this pathetic case. So, do you think the jury will believe Michael Cohen? Do you believe him? And how likely do you think Trump is going to win this case? And do you agree that the outcome of this case could literally change who wins the election this fall? A porn star, a convicted felon, who's also a serial liar and been disbarred. That's what this is all hinging upon. That's it. A case that the federal prosecutors, Joe Biden's own Department of Justice, and U.S. attorneys refused to prosecute. They saw no crime in this. It was such a non-crime that the FEC, Federal Elections Commission, investigated the two and determined not even a fine was warranted in this. It's such a non-crime that the local attorney, Cy Vance, who's a Democrat liberal in New York City at the time, refused to prosecute this. He saw no crime. It's such a non-crime that Alvin Bragg himself said, there's nothing here to charge. I will not prosecute Trump under this. This is ridiculous. And then one of his top prosecutors left because of that and wrote a book, a scathing book attacking Alvin Bragg. And then Alvin Bragg changed his mind, and that's what he did. Came up with this joke. Okay. And his prosecutors met with and conspired with Joe Biden's team at the White House and Joe Biden's number 3 in the entire Justice Department, 2 heartbeats away from being the Attorney General of the United States. Michael Colangelo resigned, went to Manhattan to take a local DA assistant prosecutor's case to prosecute Trump, and he's the lead prosecutor on this case. Do you understand that? That's what this is. This could change the election. That's where we're at. All right, 800-288-WBAP is our number. One line open. Joan in Wiley, you're on News Talk 820 and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hello, Joan.
Hello, it's Joanne.
Oh, I apologize. It's spelled Joan, but I'm going to say Joanne. I apologize. That's my mom's name. It's a beautiful name.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Mom, thank you, Mom. Sorry, that was nasty. Joking.
To answer your question, I don't know whether they'll believe him or not. I don't think it really matters if they're as left-leaning as probably they are. I don't think it matters what he says. I don't think they'll believe him. I don't think it'll matter whether they believe him or not. Okay. I don't believe him.
Okay.
And I would vote for President Trump if he's sitting in jail.
You're saying you don't think it'll matter if they believe him? Why? Because it's not a crime still, from what you've heard?
I don't think it's a crime. No, I don't, from all the legal analysts that I've listened to. But what I'm saying is I don't think it matters whether the jury will believe him or not. They've probably already got their minds made up.
Yeah, okay, that's what you were getting at. Okay, so here's the thing.
Yes.
Do you agree with me? Because I now believe there'll be between 1 and 3 jurors at least that'll say, this is ridiculous. There's no case here. Between 1 and 3, that they will not be able to change their mind, because this is such a joke to, I think, a lot of people. Even if they're Democrats or moderate Democrats or independents, I think between 1 and 3 will just say there's no conviction here. But then the only question is those 1 to 3, will they change their mind because they don't want to be the one person who's canceled, mobbed, run out of town, loses their job because they did the right thing as a juror. So that's the last kind of thing. Do you agree with me on those guesstimations and predictions?
Pretty much, I do. I think that, like you said, I think they'll be afraid to not go along with the majority, maybe. But I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think it's going to influence the election. If everybody's as staunch Trump supporter as I am, it won't matter.
They're not. That's about 42 to 46% of Trump voters that will not win the election.
I can't believe. Mm-hmm. I can't believe with the turnouts that he's having at his rallies.
Those don't matter. We have the same thing every year. They will not matter. I'm not kidding you. I mean, he had 30,000 people in New Jersey, not 100,000 according to the Fox people this afternoon. But 30,000 is still, to quote Jesse Waters, who said it was 30,000. That's 29,990 more than, or 900 more than Joe Biden. He would have gotten 100 to 200 max. And I agree. But unfortunately, that's not going to win the election. I wish it would, but it's not. This is the same stuff we've been snookered at in the past. I just say these things be direct. We have to take our bias glasses off, and we want to win this thing. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Marcus in Fort Worth, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, Marcus.
How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I just want to say I agree with Joan. I mean, she was right on with most everything she said. I pretty much agree with everything she said. I think that Trump will win if he's put in prison. There's just so much bad with the Biden administration, and they've hurt this country so bad that I think that Trump will get the backing that he needs to win. And every time I see people like Michael Cohen, I think about how Obama made that $6 trillion bailout, and they don't know where all that money went. And I got a feeling when you see people like Michael Cohen, I think he's been approached. I think he's been bribed. I think a bunch of people have been bribed with that money that they don't know where it went. I think it went for bribe money for them to continue power. And, I'm going to vote for Trump. I don't care if he's in prison. I'm going to vote for him. I'm not going to believe. Why should I start believing Democrats or people that are rhinos?
You don't have to, but the problem is it's kind of, and I'm not trying to be rude to you either, but at all, because I'm not being rude. I'm just being frank. The last caller, I had the same kind of thing to share with you, is that you and her and me, we're already voting for him no matter what, but that's not enough to win. And the problem is the people that are going to decide this, who may be swayed by a conviction, even though it's a joke, because they don't follow everything to the very T. They just see he's guilty. A jury agreed, and that'll be it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot more than just this trial changing anything. I don't think this is enough to change anything. There's so many people that have changed from being a Democrat because of all of this, and back to Trump. And do
you struggle to put yourself in the shoes of somebody who? Do you struggle to put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's ignorant and doesn't follow the news to the T, but sees the mainstream media and watches them and doesn't realize how biased they are? Do you see that? Is that hard for you to get yourself in that position?
I see even the ignorant people suffering under Biden and what he's done to them enough to have the wisdom to vote for somebody that, I mean, Trump did so much for the American people. I have spoken with people that are just
done. I know.
Don't see it.
I know. I hope that you're right is what I want to say, Marcus. I want to close the call with you to say I hope you're right, because if you're not, we lose again. I appreciate your call. John in Grapevine, you've called in. By the way, our number is 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. How do you think this jury will believe Michael Cohen? Do you believe him? And how likely do you think Trump is to win this case? And do you agree that the outcome of this case literally could change who wins the election this fall, as pathetic as it is to say that? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. John in Grapevine, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, John.
I appreciate you taking the call.
I appreciate.
I think the case has already been decided. Number one, I do not believe Michael.
I would agree with you on that.
I think he's a scumbag. I think he's a liar. I know he's a perjurer.
Yes.
I don't believe that the jury is going to acquit Donald Trump. There are two attorneys on that jury that know already this case should have been thrown out of court.
But if they're like people in my immediate family, well, I just want to tell you this. You're going to finish, but let me add something in the middle of what I want to add to your statement. Those lawyers, if they're like people that I know that are very successful, working at super woke companies, and they're super woke, they're like the attorneys you see on MSNBC and half the ones on CNN. They still think this is a great case, and they're going to be telling the jury that at the instructions. One of the foremen. Yep,
but they already know, because this is a 95% area of New York that is totally blue, and they are going to be toast if they don't convict Donald Trump.
Therefore, that's why you said they're going to convict, which is very sad to hear. But honestly, sadly, oh gosh, if you're right, it'll really suck. Go ahead with your next point.
this country is going down the tubes.
Yes.
Anybody that votes for Joe Biden, you have to like inflation, you have to like Bidenomics, and you have to like open borders. This case is going to decide the future of the United States.
Yeah,
of
you
America.
agree with me. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so
we're finished if he's convicted.
Okay, so so basically that's it. Your point, John, in Grapevine is this: Trump's going to be convicted, even though they're going to know it's a joke, and that's going to end. That's going to win the election for Biden again.
I'm not even sure that Biden is going to be it. I'm more convinced at this point that they're going to have to put Governor Newsom in there.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Biden doesn't even know where he is.
I know, but here's the thing. You're saying he will be convicted, that will change the course, and then Trump will lose to somebody.
That's exactly correct.
Oh, but you're a big Trump supporter, though, right?
I am one. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting here looking at a picture I had made with Donald Trump.
Okay, so that's it. You actually believe Trump will not win, and it'll be because of this election. Wow, I'm not sorry, because of this case. Wow. Thank you for your honesty, John. That's amazing. How depressing is that? Nobody's been so sure and bold and direct as John was. I admire that, but I hate hearing that. I hate hearing what he just said, and he said it like unflinchingly. Do you hear that is so freaking scary. I mean, that's where I was driving to the last two calls before, John. Can you put yourself in the shoes of one of these, no offense, but idiots who doesn't follow the news to the T and will say, well, he's convicted. He did something wrong. The jury convicted him. And not have any idea what the case was really all about and what really happened there? That should scare the living hell out of you. And if that does happen, excuse my language, if that does happen, just understand the country's over. Because it said yes, if that is the truth. It says yes to Venezuela. We're Venezuela. It says yes to China being we're not China. It says yes to Russia. Yes, put us back in cuffs. Yes, put us back into bondage. All of us. We're too free. We're too spoiled. Take it all away. We don't want it. Yes to Hamas. Yes to hating Jews. Yes to worshiping St. George Floyd. Blessed be his name. And going Marxist. Yes. We don't want this freedom. We don't deserve it. We're fat little piggies who are so ignorant now. We don't know who we are, where we came from, what this Constitution is, what our history is, and we reject this country. We say yes to bondage. Remember, it is... I think it was de Tocqueville or somebody of that nature that wrote about America and how incredible it was at the time. But it says people go, like this is human beings. This is all of us. People go from bondage to, I forget the exact, it was like 5 or 6 terms. I'll look it up. Well, I'll tell you when we come back. They go from bondage to freedom to prosperity to then going back into bondage, because they end up becoming fat little piggies, ignorant, and then rejecting what gave them their freedom and everything like that. And then they end up giving it up willfully, putting me back in cuffs. Then they go back into bondage. And it's the human condition for all of us. And I think that's right. All right, I'll share that exact quote with you coming up next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. We have 3 lines open at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. This is the Chris Crock Show on WBAP. Professor Jonathan Turley says the calculus of Alvin Bragg is now obvious. He's counting on the jury convicting Trump regardless of the evidence. He believes all he needs is to check the boxes on the elements of crime, no matter how unbelievable the vehicle. So we'll see. Maybe they're right, and then that's it. A pathetic case could take him out. It's unbelievable, but it is what it is. All right, 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Wayne in Las Colinas, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Chris.
Yes, sir.
So I'm a Republican since Reagan, right? Mm-hmm. And I am proud of that. But Donald Trump was no Republican, right? He is a liar and a cheater and a seditionist that tried to stop the election results. Since when did character not matter to us as Americans? Right, there's a guy that calls soldiers, and I'm a veteran, and I have lots and lots of friends in the military. He called soldiers suckers and losers. right?
There's been several people that have debunked that, but we don't have to litigate that. So I strongly disagree with what. Let's not waste our time. Let's not. Relax, my friend. Just 1 second. I just want to register immediately that I strongly disagree with you, but let's move forward now based on what I've heard. Go ahead, because you got about 30 seconds. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. He is a liar and a cheater.
You've already said that.
Every wife that he's had, he's cheated on his family.
That's great.
He's cheated on every business.
Is that all you got? Just go to what the meat. Go ahead.
Okay, well, tell me what redeeming qualities does Donald Trump have?
How does that
you want your kids or grandkids to emulate?
Okay.
Tell me. He's a whoremonger.
Every policy of his I love, and it's been great for me, America, and everything. Now, let's not argue about him. I got you hate him, whatever. Okay, but what are your answers to my questions? You got 15 seconds. Go.
I want what's best for America.
No.
Right?
Just answer the question, which is I gave the questions a million times. You have the answers for those in 10 seconds or no?
Which question? All
right. I'll put you on hold. Maybe we'll put you back on standby. You had your time. And maybe we'll put you back on for a second when we come back. Stand by. He just hung up, unfortunately. 800-288-WBAP. Joe in Allen has unfortunately, some negative thoughts on this, and that it is what it is on that. And more from Jonathan Turley in his commentary. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not looking good for Trump's possibilities based on a decent amount of our callers tonight. That should scare you. All right, we'll continue with that coming up next. And then, do you avoid tolls because of all the expense, or do you not? We're going to get into it big time with that. It's going to be very interesting on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM 93.3.